You can go ahead, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. A very good morning to all, respected chairpersons and dear all. I'll be discussing about histopathological spectrum of glomerular diseases. So this is a PAS, periodic acid skip stain section, showing this round ball-like structure is a glomerulus. Glomerulus is tuft of capillaries bound by this Bowman capsule, which is PS positive. And this is a Bowman space. Normally it is white, there are no cells. All these capillary are held together by a pink color mesangium containing these mesangial cells. Normally there are up to 3 mesangial cells. Then this comes as a capillary lumina. Inside the capillary lumina, these are the endothelial cells. This is a endocapillary space. Normally it is white. There is no endocapillary hypercellularity. And outside this is a GBM, glomerular basement membrane, which is compared, the thickness of GBM is compared with this normal tubular basement membrane. Generally it is lesser or equal to this thickness of this TBM. And outside this GBM, there are this small inconspicuous podocytes present. So this is a normal glomerulus. When I am talking about this cellularity, that means these are the mesangial cells, then endocapillary cells, or extracapillary hypercellularity, those are the crescents. So when we see the glomerular diseases under light microscopy, first we'll see about whether the glomerulus is normocellular or hypercellular. So this is PA stain section showing a glomerulus. This is silver stain, that is black. And when we see anything normal, and obviously along with clinical history, immunofluorescence findings and electron microscopy findings, we should arrive at a diagnosis. So when light microscopically everything is normal, normocellular, then it can be due to MCD, C1q nephropathy, IgM nephropathy, thin basement membrane disease, or Alport syndrome. When we see some focal sclerosis, focal meaning when there are 50% or less number of glomeruli involved, then it becomes focal. More than 50% glomeruli when involved, it is diffuse. Any kind of FSGS, that is focal segmental. Segmental is a portion of a glomerulus. We'll see subsequent slides in that. And global is whole glomerulus is involved. Any acute glomerulonephritis, when it is healed, that will also show focal sclerosis, or in case of Alport syndrome. When there is thick basement membrane, it is membranous nephropathy, TMA. Along with thickening of the basement membrane, if there is mesangial matrix expansion, generally seen in diabetic nephropathy, also in membranous nephropathy, mostly in secondary membranous, that is lupus, and in deposit diseases like amyloid, MIDD, or dense deposit disease. So this is a glomerulus under direct immunofluorescence. Dr. Swarnalata madam already beautifully explained about it, that when we see under the direct immunofluorescence, this is IgG stain. The tubular epithelial cells, they are stained, that fluorescence granular positivity. That means the stain has worked. This acts as an internal control. And look at the glomerulus, there is no such fluorescent green granular positivity. That means it is negative. So when such thing is there, then it can be MCD. This is another pattern, that in IgG, this podocyte dusting is seen. So that is seen due to antinephrin antibodies, and we have to correlate with serum antinephrin antibody levels, and it may pose a post-transplant recurrence. That's why it is important to see all these patterns. This is normal glomerular basement membrane of a normal glomerulus. There are 3 layers. This is lamina rara externa towards the foot processes. These are all the foot processes. This is urinary space. This is glomerular basement membrane, and here comes the capillary lumina and endothelial cell. So lamina rara externa, middle is the lamina densa, and towards this endothelial fenestrations is the lamina rara interna. In MCD, we can see there is diffuse, compare this with this, there is diffuse foot process effacement or fusion of foot processes. But when everything is normal on light microscopy immunofluorescence, then we have to see electron microscopy for thin basement membrane lesion or Alport syndrome, because these are diagnosed only on electron microscopy. Normal GBM thickness is around 300 to 350 nanometers, and which is higher in male and lesser in females, and also in children it is thinner. By 10 to 12 years of age, children have this adult size of glomerular basement membrane thickness. Abnormally thin GBM is seen in thin basement membrane lesion, and there is splitting and laminated GBM that gives a basket weaving appearance in Alport syndrome. So when we see, coming to the next entity, that focal sclerosis. So this is a focal segmental glomerulosclerosis. There is increase in the mesangial matrix in this PA stained section, and there is this endocapillary foam cell, whole thing attached to the Bowman capsule, and there is capping of this podocytes. So this is FSGS not otherwise specified variant, NOS, which is seen commonly. Then next comes this collapsing variant. Collapsing glomerulopathy gives an appearance of crumbled paper appearance. It can be global or segmental collapse, which gives this collapse of the tuft and hyperplasia and hypertrophy of overlying podocytes, and along with this protein resorption droplets. This can be commonly seen in HIVAN or other diseases also. How to differentiate this with cellular crescent? This is a cellular crescent. Look at this Bowman space. There is extracapillary hypercellularity, and the cell morphology here, it is spindle cell morphology. There and here the cells are in collapsing, polygonal in shape. Also there is intracellular matrix inside this crescentic cells. Also there will be many times there is breach in the Bowman capsule, and microtubular cysts are seen in collapsing variant. Also WT1, that podocytes can be positive in collapsing glomerulopathy, and cytokeratin will be positive in crescentic cells. So next comes the cellular variant. This is an expansile lesion with lot of endocapillary foam cells, and also here in HND stained section we can see there are some neutrophils. So this is like a focal endocapillary hypercellularity, but there is this some mesangial matrix increase and capping of podocytes. So this becomes cellular FSGS. Then comes the perihilar variant. This in the glomerulus, one arteriole enters from one side, that is afferent arteriole, and it is called as hilum, and this is a tubular pole towards the proximal convoluted tubule. So here we can see near this hilum, this is a segment of sclerosis which is attached to Bowman capsule, and there is no significant prominence of podocytes, and there are some hyalinosis lesions. So this is seen in adaptive FSGS, hypertensive nephropathy, or obesity related glomerulopathy. Next comes the tip variant. So this is silver stained section, and these are the endocapillary foam cells which are prolapsed at the orifice of this proximal convoluted tubule, and it gives a good prognosis and significant diffuse significant foot process effacement. On immunofluorescence, FSGS lesions will show this entrapped deposits. This was a case of tip lesion, entrapped deposits in IgM, C3c and C1q. So next comes glomerular diseases with thick GBM. So this is HND stain section which is showing exaggerated normalcy appearance and giving there is diffuse uniform thickening and rigidity of this basement membrane. This is a PA stain section. On this hand side, these are the normal tubules, and these are some atrophic tubules showing some wrinkling and thickening of the GBM. So match the thickness of this TBM, tubular basement membrane, with this glomerular basement membrane. It is matching. That's how we compare the thickness. So this was a case of membranous nephropathy, and on silver section, when we see under high power, there will be this subepithelial spikes better seen on 100x oil immersion lens. When they are cut tangentially, we can appreciate here non-argyrophilic, that is silver negative pinholes. On meson trichrome, it will give subepithelial fushinophilic deposits. As madam said, this is poor man's EM, and we can appreciate this subepithelial fushinophilic electron dense deposits. When we see the glomeruli are congested in membranous nephropathy. Congested meaning there are a lot of RBCs in this glomeruli. Then we should advise renal Doppler to look out for renal vein thrombosis, which is most commonly associated with membranous nephropathy. And also when we see lot of neutrophils, but there is no endocapillary hypercellularity, then it can be due to malignancy related membranous nephropathy. On immunofluorescence, we see there, this is IgG, capillary wall, fine granular deposits. The deposits are along the periphery of the capillary loops. And on PLA2R, also there is granular positivity. This is immunohistochemistry of PLA2R. Granular positivity along the capillary capillary walls. So coming to this electron microscopy of membranous nephropathy, this is a glomerular capillary lumen and showing this as this gray colored small and electron dense subepithelial deposits. In between GBM spikes are there, intervening spikes. So now next entity coming with thickened GBM is TMA, that is thrombotic microangiopathy, and we can see here there is thickening and duplication of GBM along with some segmental mesangiolysis. There is loss of mesangium. Here we can appreciate there is subendothelial widening and mesangiolysis. Mesin trichrome will give you this intracapillary, this thrombi, fibrin thrombi. Fibrin is granular in appearance and fusionophilic. So now coming to glomerular diseases with thick GBM and mesangial expansion. Commonly we see as diabetic nephropathy. This is PA stain section showing a glomerulus with prominent PS positive mesangial widening, focally exceeding the diameter of adjacent capillary lumina and forming this acellular nodular lesions known as KW lesions, Kimmelston-Wilson lesions, and also arteriolar hyalinosis here. These nodules are silver positive, black colored, and on immunofluorescence we can see there is pseudo-linear or linear smooth deposits along the capillary wall in Bowman capsule and also along the TBM. On electron microscopy, there will be thickened glomerular basement membrane and increased mesangial matrix, but there will not be any electron dense deposits. So next entity comes as monoclonal immunoglobulin deposition disease or LCDD, light chain deposition disease. So look at this glomerulus, this was showing the nodules, and these nodules are also PS positive in MIDD, but these are not uniform in size, they are asymmetrical, and these are uniform in size, PS positive. But on silver, they will take up the silver stain but not uniformly, and on immunofluorescence, it will also show linear, bright linear staining along the capillary wall and Bowman capsule and tubular basement membrane. But there will be light chain restriction. Here it is kappa light chain restriction seen. The one which is positive is restricted and lambda is negative. Also, when we are confused, we can do IF albumin stain that will differentiate from diabetic and MIDD. It will be positive in diabetic nephropathy. And on electron microscopy, along this inner side of this GBM, these are the podocytes, and this is a GBM. This is endothelial side. So along the inner side of this, there will be fine punctate granular powdery deposits. They are also known as Randall type deposits, and outside the TBM, they will be there. So now next coming is the deposition disease like fibrillary glomerulonephritis or immunotactoid. In fibrillary glomerulonephritis, here we can appreciate this is a thick atrophic tubule and thickening of this basement membrane, and PS positive mesangial widening is there. On silver, it is giving moth-eaten appearance, that is, it is not taken up evenly by the mesangium. On immunofluorescence, it gives a smudgy appearance. This is known along the periphery and mesangial compartment, it is showing smudgy appearance. IHC, that is immunohistochemistry DNA JB9, is specific for fibrillary glomerulonephritis, and it is showing diffuse positivity. So now look at this slide, everything is looking pale, that is the striking feature. So this is H&E stain section showing this pale waxy eosinophilic material in the mesangium, forming an acellular nodule at the 3 o'clock position. And when we look at PAS stain, this material is PS negative. So this Bowman capsule is PS positive. These tubular basement membranes are PS positive. And look at this material. So this is PS negative. And on silver, this is silver negative. Look at this GBM, which is showing silver positivity, that is black color. Also, they can show this amyloid spicules on this silver stain. These are nothing but the subepithelial spikes. On meson trichrome, it gives bluish mesangium. On Congo red, it gives congophilic glomeruli. Under the polarization, it gives apple green birefringence of amyloid in the glomeruli and the vessel wall also. So when there is a light chain restriction, then that becomes, here lambda is showing mesangial positivity and kappa is negative. So lambda restricted, so that becomes AL type of amyloid, or any heavy chain is restricted, that will become heavy chain amyloidosis. When we see there is no restriction, then we will go for IHC immunohistochemistry AA amyloid, and it is showing diffuse positivity along the vessel wall and in the mesangium. So when we have to differentiate these three amyloidosis, fibrillary and immunotactoid GN, these are nodular or deposit disease. So Congo red is positive in amyloidosis, whether it is negative in both. Also, the size of the fibrils, amyloidosis, it is 10 nanometer, 20 for fibrillary, and immunotactoid is more than 30 nanometers. In both amyloid and fibrillary, there will be randomly arranged fibrils, but in immunotactoid, there will be microtubules. They are arranged parallelly. And DNA JB9 is most commonly associated with, it is the marker for fibrillary glomerulonephritis. So here we can appreciate this both fibrils, amyloid, then fibrillary, and these are the microtubules parallelly arranged. So now coming to the next entity, that is hypercellular glomerular diseases. So hypercellular will start with mesangial proliferation diseases. So this is a pink color mesangium. There is definitely a widening. Widening means PS positive mesangial widening when there are 2 cell nuclei thickness, and hypercellularity when there are more than 3 cells. So when there are 4 to 5 cells, it becomes mild. 6 to 7 it is moderate, and 8 or more it is marked mesangial hypercellularity. And when on seeing immunofluorescence, here these are the capillary lumina. Look at this periphery, there are no deposits, mostly they are in between this capillary lumina, there is this mesangium. So these are strong positivity for IgA nephropathy. On electron microscopy, there will be this mesangial electron dense deposits. So now coming to endocapillary hypercellularity, it can be focal or diffuse. Focal meaning less than 50% of the glomeruli involved, and diffuse more than 50% of glomeruli involved. This is focal segmental, portion of a glomerulus is involved, that becomes segmental, and this is focal segmental hypercellularity. Look at this other capillary lumina, they are white, patent, and here we can see some activity. There are endocapillary hypercellularity along with karyorectic debris, and these angulated trilobe neutrophils are there. So this was a case of class 3 lupus. Another entity with diffuse endocapillary proliferative, but I would like to add the adjective exudative, because there are lot of trilobe neutrophils. They are filling up the capillary lumina and obliterating with significant neutrophilic infiltrate. This is seen most commonly in IRGN, infection-related glomerulonephritis, and these are the C3C deposits on immunofluorescence. They are giving capillary wall and also mesangial deposits. These deposits are lumpy, bumpy, chunky deposits giving the starry sky appearance. And on electron microscopy, this is capillary basement membrane, and subepithelial hump-like deposits, electron dense, are seen in the IRGN. Another entity is diffuse proliferative glomerulonephritis. Here we can see there is diffuse mesangial or endocapillary, we cannot differentiate mesangial and endocapillary hypercellularity, obliterating the capillary lumina with this neutrophilic infiltrate and karyorectic debris. And on the PAS stain, we can appreciate these are the wire loop lesions and hyaline thrombi. The basement membrane is mildly irregularly thickened and focally duplicated, forming these wire loop lesions which are subendothelial. And this is a case of class 4 diffuse lupus nephritis. In this is meson trichrome stain. showing these fusionophilic subendothelial deposits. These are wire loop lesions. Look at this cell, this is endothelial cell, and these deposits are projecting towards the capillary lumen, towards the endothelial cell, so these become subendothelial deposits. When we see the case of lupus nephritis, these all compartments are lit up, the glomeruli, then tubular basement membrane and the vessel wall, both IgG and C1q. So in case of lupus nephritis. In lupus nephritis, on electron microscopy, we see this subendothelial electron dense deposits and the tubulo-reticular inclusions, which are not specific. They are also seen in HIVAN and also patients receiving interferon therapy. Now coming to the next pattern, that is MPGN pattern, membranoproliferative glomerulonephritis. These glomeruli are hypercellular and they are giving a club-shaped appearance or lobular accentuation. On silver stain, we can appreciate here there is endocapillary hypercellularity and there is nice duplication along with mesangial cell interposition of the basement membrane. On immunofluorescence, C3C stain is showing this nice outer smooth deposits and these subendothelial granular deposits and some mesangial deposits also. So this was MPGN pattern. And on electron microscopy, we see this blue color outer is original membrane and here is new membrane formation, that is red color, and we can see this subendothelial deposits also intramembranous. Other entity is when we see only C3C deposits along this capillary lumina, and when we see mesangial ring kind of deposits and all other immunoglobulins are negative, then it becomes a case of DDD, which should be confirmed on electron microscopy. Look at this intramembranous deposits. They are like a charcoal color and osmiophilic deposits in the lamina densa. So another entity is proliferative glomerulonephritis with monoclonal immunoglobulin deposit disease, PGN-MID. In that we see IgG, C3C immune complex deposits are there, but only one light chain is positive and other is negative. Here there's IgG, C3C positive, kappa is positive and lambda is negative, and this is a crescent. The crescentic cells will not take up the stain. This was a case of PGN-MID. Now coming to the extracapillary hypercellularity entity, that is crescents. So this is a PS stain and this is silver stain. This tuft is absolute looking normal. There is no increase in cellularity. All activities happening here in the Bowman space, and those are showing this cellular crescent. When more than 75% cells are there, it is cellular crescent, and when less than 20, we'll see that in later slides. So these are the circumferential cellular crescents, and on IgG there will be linear continuous strong positive deposits. Those are of anti-GBM disease, and this is a crescent. They are not taking up the stain. They will not be positive, and there is the breach in the Bowman capsule. Here we can appreciate some remnants. Now necrotizing and crescentic GN will also be there. That is, there is in necrosis there will be rupture of here, the left side part it is normal, and right side part you can see there is rupture of this GBM and there is karyorectic debris along with some fibrin. In mesentericrum we can appreciate this fusionophilic fibrin and overlying circumferential cellular crescents. Here we can appreciate there is breach in Bowman capsule. In fibrocellular crescents there will be both mixture of fibrous component and a cellular component, and in fibrous crescent there will be less than 25% of the cells. So this can, and when immunofluorescence for IgG and all the immune complements also negative, it becomes a case of ANCA negative, obviously after doing ANCA or Posse-immune crescentic glomerulonephritis. Now the types of global glomerulosclerosis, there are, this is type of involuted glomeruli which are seen in cases of MCD. These are nothing but the strong staining mesangial matrix and with some viable podocytes. So these will be positive for this podocyte markers. And there is obsolescence glomeruli which are seen in case of ischemic nephropathy, and there is PS positive tuft and negative, PS negative, this collagenous material in the Bowman space. This is seen in hypertensive nephropathy, and it has to be differentiated from fibrous crescent, like there will be breach in cases of crescent. their last entity is decompensated benign nephrosclerosis. There we can see this kind of solidified glomeruli. All are nothing but this pattern of glomerulosclerosis. This is a normal glomerulus. Thank you.